weekend. Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to South Today. I'm Jo Kent. The top stories this lunchtime. The mother of the newborn baby, which was found dead in a railway station bin, comes forward to police. The government's drive to create more academies. This school's one of the first in line, but what will it mean for pupils? And Swindon gets behind their team as they head to Wembley for the League One playoff final. Police in Hampshire have traced the mother of a baby girl whose body was found at Fleet railway station on Wednesday. They say she came forward following media appeals and is now receiving treatment. Well, Steve Humphrey has been following the story and is at Fleet station this lunchtime. Steve, when did we hear about this latest development?
Well, after 2 days of intense police activity and widespread media coverage, Hampshire Police announced shortly after 8 o'clock this morning that the mother of the dead baby girl found here at Fleet railway station has come forward. Now, police are describing her as a teenage girl. They haven't revealed her age. She is now receiving treatment. Now, well-wishers have left flowers and soft toys at the front of the station, just yards from where the baby's body was found. A note attached to one bunch of flowers reads simply, "Rest in peace, little Fleet baby." Another reads, "You have touched our hearts for all the wrong reasons."
Of course, it is a very tragic case and it has generated a big public reaction, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's because this type of case is just so rare. And in fact, shortly after the newborn baby's body was found by a cleaner in a rubbish bin on Wednesday morning, police launched their murder investigation. Initial tests had shown that the baby had suffered injuries that weren't consistent with normal childbirth. Now, Hampshire Police say they're now working closely with the teenage girl who's come forward and her family to try to establish exactly what happened. A post-mortem was carried out on the baby girl at Great Ormond Street Hospital in London yesterday. The results of that haven't been made public. From Fleet Railway Station, back to you.
Steve, thank you very much. A man accused of murdering a woman at her flat in Brighton has begun to give evidence at his trial. The prosecution says Neil McMillan strangled Andrea Waddle, who was working as a prostitute. When questioned in court today, he denied he was obsessed with Andrea. Neil McMillan will continue to give evidence this afternoon. He denies murder. It's one of the government's new flagship proposals, giving every school the right to become an academy. The bill was presented to Parliament yesterday. Now, it's not a new idea. There are already 200 academies in the UK, including the Oasis in Southampton and the Medeski in Reading. Both replaced existing schools which were underperforming. Now, under the government's plan, that number would vastly increase. More head teachers would decide how to spend their own budgets, freeing them from local authority control. Supporters say it'll push up standards for every school, but critics believe it could lead to a two-tier education system, with academies choosing the pupils they want and the most disadvantaged children missing out. More on that in a moment, but first, Alan Sinclair has been to one school in Reading which wants to be first in the queue.
As a standalone primary, All Saints is a rarity. It has no feeder school for children once they turn 7, but many parents struggle to find junior school places in the area. They've been campaigning to form their own junior department in a disused former children's home opposite. The building's owned by Reading Council, but the local education authority, the LEA, has been reluctant to back the idea. Academy status would give the school and governors control over the budget to potentially press ahead with the plan.
I must do the best for the children in my care, and I think the best for them is to be able to continue their education in the school that they love, with the friends that they love, with the community support that we have available here.
The only way to go forward really with All Saints School. It's such a problem with no school places in the Reading area.
It's a challenge. There needs to be a strong set of governors that we have, and a strong kind of leadership team.
Yes, it's a new policy, it's untested waters, but it's worth it. The alternative doesn't look less risky to us.
With local political support, the All Saints proposal has already been delivered to the new Education Secretary. It could be among the first of a new generation of schools forging their own future. Alan Sinclair, BBC South Today.
Well, elsewhere, Portslade Community School near Brighton had already been seeking academy status before this week's announcement. A public consultation starts today and many parents say they've still to be won round to the idea. The charity, which would sponsor the school, argues that if it became an academy, it would be better equipped to tackle its underperformance.
The opportunities are to look at the structure of the school day, how long lessons are, the way in which teachers work, how structured lessons are put together, the nature of the curriculum, the involvement of the community. I mean, actually, the flexibilities are quite considerable. But in the middle of that, we're still inspected by Ofsted, we still deliver the curriculum, so there's a lot that actually looks very familiar.
For one, teaching unions not so keen on the idea. The NUT says academies don't offer pupils better education than other local schools and that existing ones have already proved unsuccessful.
If you look at the academies programme across the piece, it isn't possible to say that it has been the way of improving schools in all the places where they've taken hold. The fact is that a number of them have gone into special measures, and some of them haven't been able to improve beyond where they were previously. And where they have improved, they have expended an enormous amount of public money in order to do that.
The pros and cons of academies, and we'll have more on that story in South Today this evening at 6:30. A laundry director has been jailed for a year after being convicted of employing and housing 23 illegal immigrants in Hampshire. 42-year-old Ching Wu took the workers on at the Universal Chinese Laundry in Alton, where they also slept in dirty and cramped conditions. There was no fresh air and windows were blacked out to hide them. It'll be at least a year before the true cost of restoring Reading's historic Abbey ruins is revealed. The site was closed to the public a year ago because of safety concerns, but so far the £90,000 needed for a full inspection of the site hasn't been secured. The final bill will only be known after a 10-month assessment of the ruins. Now, historians describe it as a magical and mysterious place with its own unique style. But for much of its existence, the Witchwood Wild Garden at Shipton in Oxfordshire has been shut off to members of the public. Well, villagers are now clubbing together to buy the site so more people can visit, as Jeremy Stern reports.
The Witchwood Wild Garden has been a centre point in Shipton for centuries, but historians are unsure how it developed, and that's what gives it its charm. For years, the garden was part of the Shipton Court Country House estate. It's now privately owned, and while some local people do have permission to visit, it's not officially open to the public. Residents from 3 local villages now want to buy the site for public use. They're planning a charity concert, one of a number of events to raise money.
We're losing too much woodland everywhere, and this is an old wood and it's a historic wood. I think it's really important that it be kept for the community and not used as not become a building site and just more houses.
Residents are more than halfway towards their target of £70,000. If it's reached, there'll be difficult decisions to make about the future of the garden. Jeremy Stern, BBC South Today.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could open it, isn't it? Right, a dog grooming service in Oxfordshire is doing its bit to help with the massive clean-up in America caused by an oil rig explosion over a month ago. Previously, any dog hair produced has been just thrown away. Now it's being sent instead to an American charity. It's using dog and human hair to help mop up and filter out oil along the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. The oil leak is now the worst in American history.
We just squish it all down into a box, parcel it up and post it off, and it's going to be used to make into hair mats and what they call hair booms, where they're stuffing nylon stockings full of hair and then they're lying that in the seabed and along the banks and things to prevent the oil coming into the coastline and affecting the wildlife.
There's a big weekend in prospect for Swindon Town Football Club as they play in the League One playoff final tomorrow. Swindon came through a tense penalty shootout against Charlton in the semi-final to book their meeting with Millwall. Among the thousands of Swindon supporters heading to Wembley will be the family and friends of star striker Charlie Austin, who started the season playing for Wessex League team Poole Town.
We're going to watch someone that's very close to our hearts, so it's just going to be strange, and you know, I just hope he does okay and nerves don't get the better of him, which I'm sure they won't, and that he enjoys himself.
And BBC Oxford News will be live at Wembley tonight at 6:30 for a full preview of Swindon's big match. Now, in this technological age of high-definition digital TVs, iPods and now, of course, iPads, it may come as a surprise that thousands of homes still have a black and white television licence. 40 years after the World Cup was first broadcast in colour in the UK, around 25,000 households may watch next month's tournament in black and white. Among them, dozens of homes in Crawley, Oxford, Reading, Bournemouth and Poole. Well, that set us thinking. We'd like to know what household items you're still using decades after you first bought them. Now, maybe you've got a vacuum cleaner from the 1950s or a kitchen gadget that's even older. If so, we'd love to hear about it. If you've got a computer, you can email us at south.today@bbc.co.uk or use the good old-fashioned telephone. The number is 03700 100 870. Please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Right, time for the weather now. With bank holiday weekend coming, Sara, are we going to have some sunshine?
Yeah, I'm going to show you with not old-fashioned symbols as well. We're not doing the magnets anymore, at least, so I can tell you with the new graphics. Mixed outlook, rain for Saturday, I'm afraid to tell you, but drier and brighter for Sunday and Monday. Particularly, I think we'll see the best of some sunshine on bank holiday Monday. Can you believe it? But today, we've seen some cloud bubbling up as we've gone through the day. On the whole, it's dry at the moment. We might see a line of showers just starting to develop from west to east, just inland from the coast, but elsewhere dry and pleasant this afternoon. You can still notice that breeze from the west. Top temperature 17-18 Celsius, so yeah, maybe not quite feeling like that. Through the night tonight, we're dry and clear for a time, then cloud increasing, and it's bringing the rain for tomorrow. So overnight lows, no problems, and then tomorrow we see that rain sweeping in from the southwest, clearing off towards the east. So 2 to 3 hours worth of rain through the first part of the day into early afternoon, and then behind it a drier interlude before we start to see some showers developing. Top temperatures tomorrow then 15-16 Celsius, fairly windy too, so certainly that will take the edge off the temperature. So tomorrow, not the day for the outside activities. Sunday looks to be better, and even the start of Bank Holiday Monday, because this feature trying to work in from the Atlantic really doesn't make too much progress, really. Might see some rain overnight into the first part of Tuesday, and then, yes, our old friend, the high pressure developing up from the Azores, and that means there's a signal that we might see that return to the warmer weather in the middle part of next week. In the meantime, though, rain for Saturday, drier, though, for Sunday and Monday.
Not all bad news then. Thanks very much, Sara. Well, that's all from us for now. Your next regional news at 6:30. Of course, there's more on our website, bbc.co.uk/South Today. Have a great afternoon.